Welcome, angry people, to the Friday. What the hell, where we talk political bullshit that comes on throughout the week or stuff that we found interesting. And we put our little bit of an opinion on it. Is our opinion right? Most likely it's not. But we'll give you the information that you can have your own little powwow and figure it out. Now, first thing we're going to talk about is Eric Swallwell. Yes, title Eric Swallwell sucks. What was happening?
I think that's opposite.
No, we'll just go with this.
Wouldn't the girls him and not he?
We don't know. We don't kink shame here. So we don't know. But yeah, apparently Eric Swallwell was supposed to go as governor race for California, and he had to withdraw. And and he goes up. What's funny is that Friday of last week. No, it was it Monday or Friday that he took out his governorship nomination. Do you remember?
I don't remember the day, but it was definitely a setup.
I don't know about that because
they needed him out. They had asked him to drop out. It looked like California. It was going to be two Republicans running against each other without even a Democrat on the ballot in November. They had already asked him to drop out, and he said no. Now that he drops out, the ultra-radical environmentalist Tom Steyer has moved in and will probably knock out at least one of the Republicans that will be on the ticket in November.
Oh, we jumped big. Anyways, let's go over this real quick. Eric, if the allegations weren't true, you would not be dropping out of the race for governor. I guarantee it. Rob Finley breaks down the allegations against Eric Swalwell that led to his resignation. Okay, we'll go with this, and here we go.
60 years old and still has no idea who she is, and she still feels the need to change her accent depending on who she's talking with. Al Sharpton is a black man, in case you haven't noticed. So Kamala shapeshifts into how she thinks she's supposed to talk when she's talking to black people. Jasmine Crockett did this too. She's no longer in Congress, or she won't be for long. That is the best the Democrat Party has to offer right now, which up until Friday night also included Eric Swalwell.
A lot has been said about me today through anonymous allegations, and I thought it was important that you see and hear from me directly. These allegations of sexual assault are flat false. They are absolutely false. They did not happen. They have never happened, and I will fight them with everything that I have. They also come on the eve of an election where I have been the frontrunner candidate for governor in California. I do not suggest to you in any way that I'm perfect or that I'm a saint. I've certainly made mistakes in judgment in my past, but those mistakes are between me and my wife. And to her, I apologize deeply for putting her in this position.
Eve of the election. The election's not till November, Eric. That was Eric on Friday night, and here was Eric last night on Twitter. Quote, I am suspending my campaign for California governor. To my family, friends, and supporters, I am deeply sorry for mistakes in judgment I've made in the past. I will fight these false allegations that have been made, but that fight is my fight, not the campaign's, end quote. Eric, if the allegations weren't true, you would not be dropping out of the race for governor. I guarantee it. Eric Swalwell, the very married father of 3 small children. This picture right on his campaign website, still up there today. This is his second marriage, by the way. He's 45 years old. He got divorced. And now Eric is vowing to get to the bottom of these wild, false allegations that he's raping members of his staff and sleeping with hookers, just like he got to the bottom of those allegations that he was sleeping with a Chinese spy called Fang Fang. And again, I don't care who Eric Swallwell chooses to sleep with. But if you are a member of Congress and you're running for president, which he has, and you're on the House Intelligence Committee, which he was, maybe you shouldn't be sleeping with Chinese spies called Fang Fang.
Yeah, I listened to a couple of podcasts this week, and one of the guys that was on one of the podcasts he's like, yeah, I went to the do the inauguration for Trump this year, and they had Eric Swalwell was there, and he's like, hey, you want to hit the bars and stuff like that? And the guy was like, well, yeah, who are you again? And he's like, Eric Swalwell, and this just pans out what way he was actually acting. So I think you're right about it being the Democratic Party that pushed that out.
They knew all along.
Yeah, but it's still a close race for anything. We won't see anything until like November. So
No. Is it May?
no,
They have their primary to see which two are going to be on the top of the ticket.
primary is in May, but the election is not until November. It's like right now for District 23, and that's the only one I'm looking at right now. Ours is our congressman is going to be the same congressman unless someone tries to push him out, and no one can.
I mean, gosh, I wouldn't just count it completely out that the idiot commie couldn't pull something out in Texas.
Oh no, that's for Senate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking about congressional seats. The only other congressional seat I'm looking at is 23, and I mean Brenner Herrera. He was gonna do a runoff for May, and what happened with that one is Tony Gonzalez, another person that's horrible. Everything it's even more horrible after time goes on and you find out more stuff, because Tony Gonzalez he was a piece of work. Did you follow that story at all with the Tony Gonzalez?
No.
Dude, there's even more allegations now. So Brenner Herrera, he's going to be the Republican congressional seat in that district, which is the border. And they had a little bit of a supposedly could have union everybody at that at a rally. They had a rally for Big Bend, to where the federal government was talking about making a steel wall going over Big Bend down in South Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I'll look it out. Maybe it does need it. Maybe it doesn't. Looked at it. It doesn't need a wall. They are mountain. Anybody that passes through that place, I mean, they should get like honorary citizenship, because it is just, that terrain is just mean and nasty.
Fun fact, when people say Texas has its own independent grid, not all of it. The tiny area in the Big Bend is by El Paso is not part of the ERCOT grid.
Really?
And there are several generating factories that generate electricity there. California is so screwed on their electric, they actually import electric from Texas. They say, okay, Texas has an independent grid, but that little part in El Paso has several power generating plants that actually export to California because California is a failure.
Okay, it doesn't
Just-
have anything to do. It doesn't have anything to do with what I was talking about. But okay,
You were talking about the Big Bend.
and I was talking about border security and nothing about that.
Yeah, but you know me.
No. At what point did any of that have? No, I know. We both have ADHD, which is really funny half the time because we always get off subject. Now, do you think? I mean, do you think the Democratic Party put that stuff out just so to kick him out?
Oh, hell yeah. I've got zero doubt. They'll throw their own under the bus. They saw it coming.
Yeah, because they did it to Bernie.
Yeah.
They did it to Bernie twice.
Yeah, I've had zero. Very few people have had any doubt that they threw him under the bus to get him out. I mean, they don't want and for instance, the Conservative Party, they don't want a black conservative president. They did the same thing to Herman Cain. But their Herman Cain's was phony. They threw 3 women who said, "Oh, in his company he did this and this." Then after he dropped out of the election, poof, they vanished. So it's just what they do.
Anyways, next thing we go on is the Strait of Hormuz. This week, the most insane single day in American foreign policy in a generation, and most people missed half of it. Iran agreed to suspend the entire nuclear program indefinitely. Iran agreed to never close the Strait of Hormuz, which I'll get into the reason why I think both U.S. and Iran closed that. $0 changed hands, no frozen funds, no pallets of cash. The U.S. naval blockade on Iran stayed up until the final deal was signed, and Trump's publicly ordered Israel to stop bombing Lebanon. Lebanon. Used word prohibited in all caps. Netanyahu went on live TV and admitted he was acting on U.S. request. Defense Ministry Katz got overruled within hours after saying Lebanon opposes have not yet been completed. A 10-day Israel-Lebanon ceasefire took effective overnight, displacing Lebanese civilians started walking back to their villages. Oil dropped 12% in minutes. Global equality surged. Iran's foreign minister declares the Strait of Hormuz completely open, first time since March 27th. As all of this one Friday. If you're not following, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we got all that happening in Friday, which here's my thinking on that. And I think both parties, Iran and United States, had to do it mainly because of what Iran did. They didn't map out the mines. So they had to go in with a minesweeper to get out all the mines. I think that's the whole reason why the what you call it? I blanked out. The treaty wasn't signed or anything like that last weekend. Because JD Vance went over there to do a treaty, and he probably found out that the mines weren't mapped, so they don't know where all the mines are at.
No, I think the reason for the turnaround is Trump and what he did with opening the Strait of Hormuz, but blocking Iranian ships because it was going to costing them $435 million per day in economic damage from the time Trump did that.
Yeah, but he had a okay.
They couldn't survive that.
Bill, you didn't hear one word I said, did you?
Yeah, the mines and mapping the mines.
Why would you open it up either through U.S. or Iran? And even if there was like last week, it was like, hey, listen, we're not going to do the nuclear stuff. I mean, it came pretty fucking fast. Okay, why would you open up the straits? If there's mines out there, and they actually said this, there was mines in the Strait of Hormuz that they didn't map out, so they don't know where they're at. So they had us drop the negotiations. It makes perfect sense. Arkham Razor. You ever heard of Arkham Razor?
Yeah.
So why would you let ships go in there? It's like last week. Okay, we already agreed about the nuclear program. All right, great. And then you hear it was like, but we don't know where the mines are at. What? We can't negotiate anything until those mines are cleared. Iran doesn't have the fucking Navy anymore. Why? We destroyed it. We wiped out everything. They had minesweepers in the beginning of last Monday. Why did they have minesweepers? To get rid of the mines. Why would we do anything other than that? I think that's the plausible thought on that. I
still believe it was economic.
Well,
their economy couldn't handle it. They weren't able to get any additional weapons in.
Well, China was sending in jet fuel for rockets, so that was one of the things too. But if you think it would have been done last week if it wasn't for the fact that there was no mines, because opening the strait last week, it would have the same an economic thing that it had happened this on Friday today.
Well, and then NATO, they voted on and gathered on how to handle the Strait of Hormuz now that Trump has opened it.
I got that. No, did you see the other stuff?
Here's Europe helping.
Yeah. Another thing, this is even any fun. It's really funny. This is come on. It won't do it for some reason. Hold on. Let me get this. Okay, it's not doing it. But I'll get this geared up because Britain had a plan to open up the Strait of Hormuz. And
lasting agreement. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. We just had a very productive meeting, bringing together 49 countries around a very simple message and proposition that the world needs the Strait of Hormuz fully open, because that is how we keep prices down for our people and stop the global economic damage. So we've all agreed there was real unity that we've just had. We want to see a return to talks and a lasting agreement, including the reopening of the strait.
So, yeah, because Europe and everything helped out, as they said, but didn't help out at all. I mean, they had a meeting. That works out, right?
Yeah. Well, you know how bad it got in Australia for the price of gas?
Go ahead and show that video.
Oh, fancy seeing you here.
I'm sorry, I don't know you.
No, I don't know you, but I want to.
I don't want to know you. Sorry.
But
Have a good day.
I was hoping to get your number.
I'm okay. Thank you.
What?
She take my money when I'm in need.
Bill,
What's in those?
Diesel?
Are they yours?
Yeah.
What did
when I say music, you turn that off. But anyways,
It was getting to the best part.
well, if it didn't have the music, you could have shut it off and showed the rest of it. Anyways, yeah, it's getting pretty bad in a lot of countries that are having like. I mean, even China. We showed it a couple of weeks back how there was lines to get gasoline in China's railways. So, yeah, everybody's feeling the pinch right now. It should go down. Hopefully, it goes down a lot before summer and everything pans over. Because after we just said it. Damn it, all the hell. Me burping didn't help either.
How do the comments come up when you replay this? Do people see the comments on the replay on YouTube?
What do you mean?
On our comments on the side.
Oh, I don't look at our comments because
Oh, I'm saying when this is replayed, when you record it, you post it, are these comments, do these come up like like when you play some videos and it's like, oh, the comments that were live come up?
no, unless I want it to come up.
Oh,
I closed it up, so I don't see the comments because most of those comments are just people bantering and everything. It helps us out, mind you. It does help us out. You commenting all hate. The whole reason why I just closed out the comments, and this is just a little secret if you ever want to do a YouTube channel or whatnot. No matter what the comments are, it's a comment. Good, bad. If people are having like a conversation in there, unless it's like seriously horrible, which I'll delete it and ban that person. But comment. It doesn't
oh
matter.
no,
Comment.
my point is that video that we couldn't play all of it.
Yeah.
I was going to put the link in the comments so people could go, oh, and watch it themselves.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. So I did that. And that's what I'm wondering is when you go to post this, will people see what I just
No,
entered
you
into
have to send it to me, and I had to put it in the description.
Okay. I didn't know if they could click comments after post and see what we do here.
Yeah. One last. Okay, we gotta do 3 things. I forgot the other one. Looking at my notes right now, I should have put that. We already talked about Hungary, right?
No.
Okay, talk about Hungary. We talked about Great. We talked about Hungary.
Okay. I think in Hungary that they might have got Spanburgered.
Yeah, I was telling you this today because you're like, oh, it was Obama stuff. It was George Soros and everything. I was like, you haven't paid attention what's going on in Hungary right now, are you? And you're like, I think it's because I sent you that article and you're like, oh, it's fake. I was like, I don't think that's fake, dude. Then you researched it yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, Obama came out with a video saying that we've won in Hungary and now we can turn the EU progressive and all that. And what was funny, and this is what was suspicious, is okay. One of the big things that they deal with is Hungary was blocking some of the votes because the EU, it requires unanimous vote, right?
Mhm.
Well, it requires a unanimous vote, but Ursula still came out with this.
But I think we should also look at the lessons learned inside the European Union. For example, I think moving to qualified majority voting in foreign policy is an important way to avoid systematic blockages as we've seen in the past. And we should use the momentum now really to move forward on that topic.
Okay, what does that really mean?
Okay, well, it's unanimous vote
Mhm.
is required for anything in the EU. Orban was blocking, for instance, money going to Ukraine because he voted against it. He was the only one who voted against it. So what she's doing is, well, let's just change our EU charter now so that majority vote rules instead of unanimous, so we can stop things like what happened with Hungary. So everyone was confused about that because it's like, well, Hungary won, so he's on your side. So now why are you changing it now? And it's like, she knew. So she's trying to set it up where Hungary, even though the guy is acting conservative, if he votes against something that the EU wants, then it'll stop it. She wants to change it to where he can't. Basically, the EU would steamroll over everything because they usually just have a couple of countries that vote against some of the garbage they want to do. So it's a totalitarian takeover.
Now, talking about voting and everything, did you see what Virginia did? Bill?
Or Virginia is doing?
Did. The governor signed it into law.
What? The redistricting?
No, not the redistricting. The what had happened is Virginia, all their 13 electoral college votes go to the popular who was ever voted popular, instead of like going district by district.
No, I didn't see that, but
Oh yeah.
if
So-
she did, that's going to be shot down. They'll take that to the Supreme Court, and that'll be shot down. They can't do that. They can't change. One state can't change how they handle the electoral college like that.
I was thinking that too when I read it. I was like, that's some shady stuff. But I also had to do like look up because it's more or less voting practices state by state. Like you can have a little bit of difference in voting,
But not that.
but not that. No, because the electoral college vote is something totally different. Because like what we saw during the national elections in 2024 is it was some places have like in a district it can go half three style votes, but those electoral college votes still go to the like if you have 2 red and 1 blue, that blue still goes to the Democratic parlor for the electoral, and those 2 red votes go to the Republicans.
Their redistricting is total bullshit. They're redistricting for one election because it's going to go back to the way it was for the 2030 election. So it's just for this election. Talk about shady bullshit.
Yeah. So, what do you think the process with that be, and how long would it be fixed though? You got like for the next election, it could be 4 to 5 years.
What, the redistricting?
No, not the redistricting. The voting practice that's happening in Virginia.
Oh no, that would be fast tracked to the Supreme Court.
Oh, hopefully. Now, saying that, yeah, maybe clear nights. What was the last? Oh yeah, 250th anniversary, and we'll go off to the bad thing first. What I found out, apparently, Mayor Mondani decided to only allow 20 people in Times Square, or groups of 20 in Times Square, because they don't have the funding. But they had like 1,000 people in Times Square when Ramadan happened. So, yeah, they had the money then, but they don't have the money now for 250th anniversary.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want to celebrate it anyway. Why would the Islamic Republic of New York want to celebrate something for America?
Yeah. Which you think the only city that would remember that and not have that would be New York City. People are forgetful after 20 years. I won't forget because I had to go do horrible things, like go overseas.
Well, look at who they just elected in New York or in New Jersey. I think it was someone that's would make AOC look like a moderate.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard something about New Jersey. What is it? It's so small that when they people ask for your address, they just ask for what exit you live on.
That would be funny. Now, here's another thing. And I thought about it today because it came up and everybody's like harking about it, about how horrible it is for California to do something like this. And I'm going to give you my thoughts on this new law they're trying to push into California law. It's not called the Nick Sidwell. Is that the kid's name that did the Minnesota stuff?
Oh, I don't remember his last name.
Anyways,
Shirley.
yeah, Nick Shirley.
I guess I did remember.
It's called the Nick. They're dubbing it the Nick Shirley Act. Basically, it's any time that you feel that you're being harassed, to basically it's a $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison for harassing and asking about fraud and everything like that. Which here's the thing on that, okay? When doing any kind of an investigation and reporting, you have to have all your facts in a row. Okay. So any of the stuff that I say, like the Minnesota daycare fraud, Nick Shirley didn't do the investigation on that. It was another guy named David. That's the only reason why I remember it, because he had my name. He had 15 years of documentations of the fraud. Gave it to Shirley. Shirley comes up and does a investigation. That investigation blew up, especially with the Leering Center. What we leering on this aspect. But, sorry.
You leered a lot watching our channel.
Yeah. We're not that special. But looking at all the stuff that he investigated, it's come to light. Now he's doing the same thing in California. The Attorney General's wife proposed this law or bill, and the bill becomes law. But
talking to me?
No, I'm talking to the audience.
You said bill. I become the law. Did I mishear that?
No, William. Anyways, looking at it this way, if you don't do that though, and you just say it's like, I think these people, like going in our town, going to like, we'll go to gas stations. Oh, this gas station is charging too much. They must be on the take. They're doing fraud or something like that so they can make more money. Or they can cheat the government. And if I just said that, and I had a very popular X channel or YouTube channel or any kind of channel, they can sue because it's liable. So I don't think they need that act or bill. They just want something so they don't get harassed. But if they're asking questions and everything, and you try to 60 minutes, they used to do that all the time. Well, I mean, we don't have. I haven't seen that many like good investigation reporting done that much anymore. Have you, Bill?
No. It's all too one-sided. It's can we turn this story into something that is hate Trump? Okay, stop. It's like a flow chart. Draw the flow chart out.
Not even
flow
doing it
chart,
that much.
hate Trump. Stop.
The only ones doing it now is MSNBC. CNN is actually saying good things about Trump right now.
No, I don't watch. Honestly,
I
I don't watch a lot of American news.
we figured that, Bill. That's the reason why I end up showing you something like that's really happening in the United States. Yes, Bill. It's what's happening. Anyways, now talk about what's going on for the 25th 250th anniversary of the United States. Because you're going to watch it, aren't you?
Yeah, that was finally released a couple of days ago. I've been keeping track of it. I was going to go. I knew they were going to have the 250th. And at first, it was going to be a year long in Iowa or Ohio, and I kept watching that, and I kept planning a vacation to go there. Then it was going to be in Washington, D.C., and it was going to be for a short period of time. So I started planning a trip to Washington, D.C. So I'm going to spend 8 days in D.C. And then 5 nights in Philadelphia, and then come back. So nice historic tour. But a couple of days ago, they finally started releasing information about it. So you can go to Freedom 250 on Facebook, probably a YouTube channel I hadn't checked, and you can get information on the 250th. And a few minutes from Fox News, the great our ambassador Monica Crowley had a great video introducing it.
This is going to be all about it. This historic event is U.S. Chief of Protocol and Trump administration representative to America 250, Ambassador Monica Crowley. Ambassador, it's so great to have you in the studio again.
Great to see you too, Ainsley. Good morning.
Tell us about this. It's very exciting.
Yes, so this is going to be the most monumental celebration of America in our nation's history. And President Trump asked us to put on the greatest celebration and the greatest show for the American people and really for the world. This is going to be a truly global celebration of America's first 250 years and looking forward to our next 250. So the Great American State Fair is a key part of our big party. We are going to absolutely transform the National Mall from the U.S. Capitol all the way through the Washington Monument. It is going to be run over 16 days from June 25th. We're going to launch on June 25th all the way through July 10th. We are going to have all 50 states and 6 U.S. territories represented, each with their own pavilions, highlighting what makes every state special. So we are also going to have, and I want to point out, for the first time ever, a 110-foot Ferris wheel on the National Mall. So you'll be able to ride and get a whole new perspective on the nation's capital.
Children are going to love this. So how does it work? You had to have representatives from every state and territory, and they'll each have a section on the National Mall. And they'll be able to represent whatever goods they sell, whatever they're known for, right? Like
whatever
Texas,
makes
the rodeos.
Exactly, whatever makes a state special, they can choose to highlight in their pavilion. You'll be able to walk state to state in a couple of minutes, all the way up and down the mall. Yes, and in addition to the once in a lifetime Ferris wheel on the National Mall, we're going to have traditional games and rides. We're going to have blue ribbon competitions, and we're also going to have all kinds of rodeo events and different things, food, games. It's just about bringing excitement and patriotism, energy, and family-friendly activities to the National Mall.
Great to take your children. You can visit all the museums, and you can go to the fair, learn all about America, what makes America great. We're still a young country, only 250 years.
That's right.
And then what about the themes? Each day is going to have a theme?
Yes, every day we'll have a separate theme over the course of 16 days, including honoring our military veterans, military families. We're also going to highlight Wings of Freedom, so America's incredible innovation in aviation. We're going to have CEOs on site. We're going to have looking forward to the future. So space technology, artificial intelligence, all kinds of things looking forward to what we're going to innovate into the future.
And at the very end, you can see on July 10th, the next 250
yes,
years.
exactly. Very future oriented as well.
So this is June 25th through July 10th. Check your calendars, everybody. Is there a website? Because if you're in the military, you probably want to go to
Bill
Military
left
and
the
Veterans
studio.
Appreciation Day. If you're a big health
There
guru,
we
you
go.
want to go on the Maha Monday.
Yes, exactly right. So the website is 250.gov.
Are you done, Bill?
Yeah, I do have some tips. I do a 4,000 plus mile driving trip, 3 of them, and I did a 5,000 mile. It took 9 months to plan each one. This thing, trying to get the good proximity in a hotel to the location. I went through so many different queries with Grok that if you search for the hotel name that I chose, you will find it 64 times in the conversation. And although everything there is free, you still, for most of it, will need tickets because there's a lot of timed entry. So this vacation to get everything in, the monuments, at least 2 or 3 museums, the zoo because my wife loves pandas. It's going to take a massive amount of planning just to make sure I've got the timed tickets proper for us to get to certain locations. And I'm going to try to send a message off to our congressman, because if you do, you might be able to get a kind of a behind the scenes look at the White House.
Oh, cool. I don't know about that because all the stuff. Anyways,
No, I checked out the site and it had the details of click here, contact your congressman, write him this, and you can get a tour. That's on it right now. So just tips for planning.
all right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I'm David Dickerman.
And I'm Wild William.
And y'all have a good day. Love you guys. Later.
Later. Bye.